This episode of the Corcoran Entertainment Show is brought to you by audiobooks. This website allows customers to choose from over 125,000 of the best sellers and hottest titles of all genres. Audiobooks can be downloaded directly to one of the free iPhone, iPad, or Android apps, or streamed instantly from almost any internet-enabled device to listen to. Whether you're driving, doing chores, or going for walks, audiobooks is there for you anytime, anywhere. Not sure if audiobooks are your thing? No worries. Audiobooks.com offers a 30-day free trial. That means you can explore thousands of titles at no cost to you. If you find that audiobooks aren't quite your style, you can cancel anytime, no strings attached. With such a low-risk opportunity, why not give it a go? Sign up for a free 30-day trial today using the link in our episode description to let audiobooks.com know that we sent you. Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I'm your host, Frankie Corcoran, coming at you with our Humbug Insiders podcast. We always do this after every big production we do, and it's just a nice way to kind of look back on it, reflect, and for the people who have seen it and want to know a little bit about what went into the behind the scenes, stuff like that, that's what this is for. So first off, I just want to say thank you to every... sorry, I'm going through puberty first. Thank you so much to every single person who came out. We had 3 kick-ass shows that couldn't have been possible without the amazing support from all of you guys, and we really, really appreciate it. You guys really, like, it's really... I think I mentioned this in the podcast too. It's always the audience that, I mean, we always do this because we love it. Like, that's all the people that we work with. We all love theater, and that's one of the reasons why we do what we do. But it's always the cherry on top to have the amazing audience, to hear their feedback, to hear their support, to hear their laughter, their crying in the audience during the show, and just hearing the response after the show is always the best part about the whole experience. So just thank you to every single person who came out to support us, and it was a great show. It was really, really, I was very, very pleased. Probably our biggest show yet, if I had to say. I mean, we've done a lot of crazy ones, but Humbug, I think, just considering it was, of course, a modern version of Christmas Carol. It was something different from Christmas Carol, where it was... It was still Christmas Carol, but it was different at the same time. And it was different enough to the point where people knew what the story was, and it's a story that people knew, but then also it was different because, of course, it wasn't set, way back in the older days. It was set in 2000s, or in the 2000s, sorry. And Scrooge was also a woman. A lot of the parts were gender swapped. Bob Cratchit was Bobby Cratchit. So there was a lot of differences, but I think it really, really, it was a nice change of pace, I think, as well, too. So that was one of the reasons that I was really drawn to it. And Christmas Carol I wanted to do for so long, but I just didn't feel ready to. It's one of those big shows where it's always one where, sure, it can be successful, it can be this, it can be that. But I'm always about, I want to make sure the quality, we always talk about this with podcast guests, that quality is everything. Quantity, I mean, of course, that's one thing. But to make a show what it is and the magical experience that it is, quality has to be at pretty much the center of everything, really. Because if you don't got a good show, then what do you got? You know what I mean? So the fact that we were able to put on a show that people loved, the quality seemed to be there, and just shows that, yeah, it was the right time and that we were ready to do it. I always said certain shows that I won't do it until I'm ready, and I felt that we were ready to do it. Maybe down the line we'll do the regular Christmas Carol. We don't know, but got a lot of ideas. But regardless of that, I was just very pleased with how it all came together. Even it was a lot of work too in you're not just directing the play, but you're also you're acting in it as well too, because originally I wasn't supposed to, because I don't do as much acting in my own shows, only when, things come up or circumstances are different or whatever. But we did have somebody, I won't say who it was on the podcast, but we did have somebody who was set to play the two parts that I ended up playing, and which was Phil and Robert. Phil was Scrooge's nephew, and Robert is, of course, young Scrooge's love interest. Wasn't set to play those originally. I had someone else. They weren't unable to due to scheduling conflicts, so I stepped in, and it was still fun regardless. I mean, when you're wearing so many different hats, there might have been times where it got overwhelming, but it was worth it in the end. And so I was very, very, honored to have the chance to work with everybody on stage too, because it's one thing directing them, but then actually getting the chance to work with them and breathe those characters that we're playing together. It had a different feeling to it, that's for sure. But overall, yeah, what a great experience it was, and I was very lucky to have some of the cast members come on the show today too. But before we get into the actual, the meat and potatoes of it, those are just some of my thoughts, director's thoughts, and just thanking everybody for all their amazing support for the show. I just want to say really quickly, we are going to do 2 podcasts this week. So we have today, of course, Tuesday. And then, of course, we are going to have another episode, which is just a regular episode on Thursday, and then we'll be back to our regular Tuesday episode. So you're getting 2 episodes of the podcast in 1 week. Reason for that is I just think it's nice where instead of having, we also don't want to just cater to the people who saw the show in town here in Miramichi, but we also want to cater to everybody else listening who normally listens and tunes in. And they don't have to sit and listen to what we're getting an insider's look at a podcast that a play that we never saw. So I just, to accommodate for that, we're doing 2 podcasts, this week. So that's never a bad thing. More, 2 in 1. I think that's pretty good. So moving on to the episode today which is, the cast giving their thoughts. We weren't able to get everybody on today. But I was lucky to. We have, of course, Patti O'Shea, who played Eleanor Scrooge. We have Reg Saunders, who played John Misselhouse, Jacob Marley, and the Gravedigger. We have Kelsey McGee, who played young Eleanor Scrooge, or Ellie, Carla, and Benson. And we also have John Kingston, who played Ben, and he also played Nurse Lyle in a very, very brief scene. These guys are fantastic. And I was, there's always those shows where you're very, just the opportunity to work with some of the best people, in theater in this community is always a blessing. And these guys are certainly up there. Just a treat. And so just a quick shout out for the people who weren't able to join us from the cast. There was Thomas Hare, who played the Ghost of Christmas Future, and he was also a caroler and a tree vendor. Next up, we had, of course, Annika Fournier, who played the Ghost of Christmas Present. She played Tess, Scrooge's sister, in the past, and she also played a caroler, and she played the character of Nellie, who kind of takes over in the future for Scrooge. And then, of course, we have Sarah Dubé, who played the Ghost of Christmas Past. She played the character of Sarah, who was a party guest. She played the part of why am I blanking on the name? Pierre, which was a fun character, and also a caroler as well. We had Abby McGraw, who this was her very, very first play, and she nailed it. She was one of the homeless helpers, who always a fun little thing at the start, and she also played Billy, one of the party guests as well too. We also had Ty Miller DeWolf, also in his debut. He was, of course, Timmy Cratchit, or Tiny Tim, and Young Phil, so Young Me, did a fantastic job for his first show. Did really, really good. I mean, everybody did. It's always I'm just gonna keep on praising these guys up. This show wouldn't have been what it was without them. And then, of course, we had Michelle Lilly, who played Bobby Cratchit, or the modern version here, the female Bobby Cratchit. She was unable to join us today. And I think that's everybody. I'm always second guessing myself whenever I'm listing off all these people. I always say it's like a Oscar acceptance speech. You only have a certain amount of time, and you want to make sure you thank everybody. Yeah, just there's a multitude of people. Thanks. So everybody, you know who you are. If you helped out with the show in any way, shape, or form, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of our hearts, for making our dreams come true. You really did make a lot of dreams come true. So moving on to the show today, of course, we have, as I mentioned, Patti O'Shea, Reg Saunders, Kelsey McGee, and John Kingston will be talking about their experience on the show. So without further ado, guys, sit back, relax, and enjoy the podcast today. All right. Hey, everybody. What's going on? Welcome back to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I'm your host, Frankie Corcoran, and we are here with some of the cast members of our most recent production, John Wooten's Humbug. Again, thank you guys all for coming out to see the show. And I have some people here who are going to talk a little bit about their experience on the show. We couldn't get everybody on here today. So you guys, if you guys are listening, you know who you are. First off, I have Eleanor Scrooge herself, Patti O'Shea.
Good afternoon, everybody.
And we also have young Eleanor Scrooge and also Benson and Carla, Kelsey McGee.
Hi.
And we have Jacob Marley slash John Misselhouse slash Gravedigger, man of many hats, Reg Saunders.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Ho, ho, ho.
And last but not least, we have the Happy Home Wrecker.
Homeless helper.
Homeless helper, right? Sorry. We have Ben, but he was also briefly on as Nurse Lyle. John Kingston.
Happy holidays.
There you
at this time of year.
With temperatures hovering on the freezing point.
Blah, 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 blah.
There you go. Perfect. I was like, are we gonna jump into the whole spiel or what? But no, that's okay. So thank you guys for coming on. It's been a busy week. We're doing this from the comfort of our own homes today. Patti, this show was really all you for the most part. I mean, of course, we had everybody scattered throughout, but at least everybody had time off stage, like to themselves. Like everybody would have, okay, I have 20 minutes before my next scene, or I have, lots of time to change in my next costume, kind of thing. But literally, you have, I think, like 10 seconds off stage throughout the whole play. So what is it like now the play's done? Have the post-play blues set in? We were kind of talking about this before we started. How you feeling about everything?
I'm feeling good. I don't know if I realized completely yet that I don't have to haul out that script and go over it again tonight, because I have been going over it day and night for the past 2 weeks, as Reg can attest to. He's been hanging out here a lot. And yes, it was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of pressure knowing that for the first time I couldn't run behind and say, okay, what's that? Okay, that's my next line. Okay, good. So that was a lot more pressure than what I have been used to in previous plays. But I got through it. Here I am.
And it's so funny. We were talking too, because you were so focused on getting everything right, and just like really the whole show was like Eleanor Scrooge drove the whole show pretty much. And so you said afterwards, people would always say, "Oh, great job," and stuff like that, and you're like, wow, did I do a good job? I must have did a great job, because you're always second guessing yourself. So how was the whole self doubting for this one? Because really, we all doubt ourselves with every play we do, but I know in particular for this one, I know you were very, I messed that up, or I'm gonna mess that up. What's gonna happen? But how do you feel now that the audience reception, you've heard it all, it's all positive? How does that make you feel?
I feel really good. I'm afraid I don't want it to go to my head, that's for sure, but I feel really good about it, because the feedback that I got and the people that I got the feedback from, I know they're sincere. There are people out there that will say, "Oh, you did a wonderful job," and it's not true. but a number of the people that came just to see me, I had friends and family, they are sincere. And so I know they're not going to cover it up with a lot of sugar. They meant it. So I feel really good that it's hard to say that I did do a good job and that I was convincing. I was told today that I was very convincing, and just to keep going on about it, I feel good about this one. So it did give me a little boost of confidence that I probably needed. So it's all good, all behind me for now.
It all worked out, and then now she's just gonna mope for the next little bit until
Yes,
Humbug
until
2.
my next big gig comes along.
Humbug 2. Whenever that's gonna be. John Wooten, if you're listening to this, get cracking on that right now. Reg, how about you? I mean, as she mentioned, like, you guys have probably spent more time together in the last few weeks than really anybody else. How does it feel now for you that the show has all wrapped, and the reception? They all loved all your characters, like Gravedigger especially. My dad in particular loved the Gravedigger character. But how does it feel now when you look back on the show as a whole?
Well, just to reflect on what Patti said as well, we all did a good job, and we should be proud of the job that we did, because this is hard work. It's mentally and physically hard work, and to kind of poo-poo it off is something that we usually do, but we should, right? Because if you think of the sports that goes on, I mean, we're going to amateur sports nights for kids and stuff, so we cheer them on just like people cheer us on. This time this play was much more fun for me because I got to do different characters, and I'm a character actor by nature anyway, and it was so much fun to play the Gravedigger.
That was just it was just I still remember the first time when we did that rehearsal, and like, literally, this is one thing for anybody who hasn't worked with Reg, you'll know that every rehearsal is a dress rehearsal, because Reg will always bring every costume piece, every prop to all the rehearsals. So when he showed up the first practice with the Gravedigger wig on, I everybody was just in stitches. How important is that for you, Reg? We always wait till near the end to do the dress rehearsals, but how important is it for you going that far in advance just to have all the costumes and props ready? How critical is that for you?
Well, when I went to St. Thomas, and I was taught by Ilke Silk in theater, and there was other professors involved as well, and they always suggested starting from the feet, from your shoes, and working your costume up from there, because your shoes are what hits the stage first. And I've always been like that since. This is what they gave you for information. Start putting your costume together, because it's important to have a background as well for your character. So to me, it's important.
No, definitely. And like, whatever helps because even there's like the smallest thing that might throw it off, where like, oh crap, I didn't have this, and then I realized I didn't have it, and then I forgot a line. Like, there's so many things that not having that stuff, it really, really helps you. And it's always good to have it way earlier in advance,
I found that the audience, they look at you, and they look at what you're wearing. And another example is the ring I wore. I turned it around so that it looked like a wedding band for John, and then I flipped it around to the Ruby side, so that's what it looked like for Jacob Marley. And people will notice things like that, what you're wearing, the boots, the shoes, their glasses even.
No, exactly. And we often don't give the audience the credit that they deserve sometimes, because there is some things where like, I'll be real particular sometimes, where I'm like, do this that way because it reflects this and that, and all these deep philosophical meanings and stuff like that. And then there's sometimes I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, nobody's going to notice that. But the audience, we do. I feel like sometimes we may we don't anticipate just how observant the audience can be sometimes. Like that's Reg, doing the theater for all the years that you've been doing it. What's the one that really stood out to you in particular of someone being real observant like that?
Well, it's sometimes it's the audience. An audience member will come up and say, "I really like this," or "I like the way you dressed," and you mentioned the hair. So there's a fine example, right? And your dad mentioned the grave digger. So I treat the audience as an intelligent being because they will notice these things.
And you should. And I mean, like it's like watching TV shows. I mean, luckily with TV shows, you have the luxury to go back and rewatch it, or movies, you can go back and rewatch it and see it. But with the play, once you see it, it's done. So you think, oh yeah, nobody's gonna go back and rewind it and watch it. But if they're invested,
yes, that's right. And if they come away with enjoying a favorite character, like a novel, like watching a TV show, like you said.
no, exactly. And that's what I really love about the audience too. I'm like, if they notice the small things, that's a great thing as well. But speaking of props and costume pieces and stuff like that, Kelsey, I gotta say this about Kelsey. Kelsey, I called her like a walking prop room because we'd say, okay, so we're gonna need champagne glasses. Kelsey goes, oh, I got that. I like there's even some things like I don't know, maybe I'd say, all right guys, I need a chainsaw because I gotta trim something down. Oh, I got tool in my car. Like Kelsey, like anything, no matter what the prop was. Oh, I got it for you, it's okay. Like Kelsey was always just on top of things like that, and that was just always the best to have somebody like that. So Kelsey, of course, played she played three different characters. She played my wife. Actually, she also played my girlfriend too, technically, because it was young Scrooge. And you were also Benson, the very serious businesswoman. But just looking at young Scrooge, I mean, that's a big part right there. Like, what was it like trying to you're basically being a younger version of Patti? What was it like trying to even like during the rehearsals, try to mimic everything she does in certain ways, like the hands on the hips when you say certain lines? Was there any pressure at all when it came to that, or what was that experience like?
I don't think there was pressure, definitely it was fun, really trying to mimic Patty and get her tone of voice down when she's saying Robert. And it was kind of fun because I would mimic what she was doing. And then at the end of that scene, she was mimicking what I was doing. So it was really neat to kind of talk to her and try to get a sense of her character and what she's doing and then reflect it with my character.
The Corcoran Entertainment Show is brought to you by Podmatch, the ultimate platform designed to connect podcast hosts with prospective guests effortlessly. Are you a podcaster looking to elevate your show to new heights? Or perhaps you're a guest hoping to share your story with a broader audience. Whatever your podcasting goals are, we have the perfect solution for you. Podmatch simplifies the entire process of discovering guests for your show or finding podcasts to feature your expertise. Now imagine a platform where you can easily match with like-minded creators tailored specifically to your niche. With Podmatch, you can effortlessly network with influencers and thought leaders, all while staying true to your podcast vision. There are a multitude of ways that Podmatch can help you grow your brand. You can be part of a thriving community of podcasters and potential guests. Engage, collaborate, and grow together. If you're ready to experience these fantastic benefits for yourself, we invite you to join Podmatch today. Head over to www.joinpodmatch.com/Corcoran Entertainment and sign up right now for only $6 a month. That's right, you heard me right, $6 a month. Join the Podmatch family today and watch your podcast soar to new altitudes. Thank you for tuning into the Corcoran Entertainment Show, and happy podcasting. Patti, was there any point during the show where Kelsey would say something and you would be like, I don't talk like that? Like was there anything like that at all?
No, I don't know. We worked really well together, and Kelsey and I just met. It's not like we knew each other before. I had never even seen her before our read through back in August. So I'm maybe taking a liberty at saying this. I just think we really clicked and
I agree.
we got along really well. So it was a lot of fun, like she just said, to see what I was doing, what she was doing. And there's one point where we both kind of gasped because it's a scene of the past, but of course I'm looking back on it. And I think both of us just did it automatically and we didn't plan it, and it worked out really well. And so then we kept it in the play. And it was it just worked really well. It was so great to have somebody that, you know, you could bounce things off of, and it's like, well, let's do this or let's try that. Do you think I'm being too much? No, it looks great. So that part was a lot of fun. And yeah, it was great making a new friend.
It really was. We did click really well. It was nice to have such a good influence for someone being out of theater for so long. It was nice to kind of have a little role model to base my
Oh,
character off of. It kind of made it a little bit easier
stop
for me.
Stroke her ego even more. Go ahead.
Will do. She
No, she
deserves
was
it. Patty was such a trooper, especially this past week. Like,
It was just such a I mean, I think everybody was during the whole week. It was just like, is this gonna work? Is that gonna work? All this like I mean, like really any play that you do, that's always bound to happen. But like with each play, you're like, no, I think this was the most stressful one, and then the next one comes, you're like, no, I think this was the most stressful one. But you know, that's theater. That's theater for you. And so, Kelsey, you've been out of the theater world for a few years now. What was it like stepping back into the world and just, you know, hearing the audience reception, stuff like that? Did it feel like coming home, or was it?
it really did. It really did just feel like coming home. It was because I enjoyed it so much. I like throughout like middle school, even in elementary school and high school, I was in theater the whole time and you know, just went a whole different direction with my post-secondary education. And then you get busy and life gets in the way. And I was too nervous to jump back into local theater because I was like, well, who would want me acting in their play, right? So it was, you know, and with a failed attempt last year, it was nice to finish a play and get back into it. And I really hope I can continue because it's been so much fun. And you know, you got to feed your inner child sometimes and do what makes it happy. And that's exactly what I did, asking you to be a part of one of your plays. So
Yeah, because I remember, I think it was Where Did I See You that I think it was the Sugar Bush, I think it
it
was.
was,
And you're
yeah.
like, so when are you doing another play? And you're like, I want to do it again. I want to do it again. And then so I kind of there's always these little things where if people say that, I always keep it in mind. And so then once I knew that I was going to be doing this, I said, oh, okay, yeah. Let me keep her in mind. And then you actually reached out to me before I reached out to you, and you're like, so I hear you're doing a play. And so I
Did
always love.
I?
I think that's how it was, if I'm not mistaken, or it might have been someone else. But either way, you were just super eager to be involved, and
I, yeah.
that's always what I
Honestly,
want. Yeah.
yeah, honestly, I was a little bit surprised because I was like, because I think you reached out to me and you're like, hey, do you want to be in this play? I was like, okay. And you're like, cool, you got 3 roles. And I was like, oh man, he hasn't seen me act. I don't know if he's ever seen me act. He doesn't know my skill. Like, I was
I
really worried. I was like, oh shoot.
Well, no, I think I saw you in one of the Rivermaid shows. Not Did you ever do a Rivermaid show before that? I'm trying to think. I
Nope,
think I saw you in one of them. No, maybe
nope,
I
I
didn't.
haven't.
Okay, I'm trying to think. I still remember your sister, of course, Michaela. Shout out to you, Michaela, if you're listening. My very, very first year of doing drama, period. Michaela was there, like, just what a trooper she was. And just so I knew right there. I said, if she's anything like her sister, I said it's not going to be an issue. She can, you know, take any role we throw at her. So I'm glad there wasn't any trepidation at all going into it. Where, oh God, I haven't done this in so long, but just slid right back into it. And you know, that's always, you know, as we said, just like coming home. Basically, it's always a nice thing. And speaking of coming home, we have John Kingston, of course, here. It's always a blast working with him whenever we can. He's a now published author as well, too. You've been on the show before talking a lot about that.
Yes,
What
I
was it
have.
like coming home to do another show?
It was really nice. Yeah, I was
Period.
saying to myself,
End of the end of the show. Roll credits. No, keep talking. It's okay.
Oh yeah, I was thinking, I kind of miss doing plays. So, back in April, I asked you, Frankie, if you could bring me back,
And
and
then here
thankfully
we
you said
are.
yes.
And this role here, I got so many compliments saying that like it was the way you and Abby went about playing the homeless helpers was just it was everything about it was just what was it like finding that character where it's the homeless helpers aren't on a lot during the play. I mean, like you're still scattered throughout. Where I mean, we see you as a nurse very very briefly, and then you're on twice with the homeless helpers. But you really made sure that when you were on stage, that you really stood out. What was that whole thing like? Where you wanted to just make sure, even like I think like the second time we practiced it, you like knew your lines and you knew everything and the blocking and stuff like that. And so what was it like finding that character where he's not on too much, but you really made him something very unique?
Well, I was thinking to myself, it's like that saying, there are no small roles, only small actors. I'm gonna try my best to make this character everyone's favorites.
Yes, well there you go. And see, and that's what we want with because people say that and some might say it's cliche, maybe it is, but it's true. There are no small like really every part means something. You're on stage, you have some sort of part in driving the story forward, so like really there's no such thing as that. But even I mean like almost everyone here in the cast I think played more than one character except Patty was one character throughout. But Kelsey, out of the three that you played, you of course played young Scrooge, you played Carla, and you played Benson. Which of the three was your favorite and why?
Honestly, I loved Benson. I
I did too.
really did because Benson is such the opposite of me, where she's like a business lady. She straight to the point, doesn't really care if she hurts someone's feelings. And I've never really played a character like that before. So I was like, ooh, this is an interesting role. And I actually did pull inspiration from the beginning of the play, Scrooge, for that. Um, because I was like, oh God. At first I didn't know how to play it. And it was actually a male role. So I was like, cool, I could wear a wig, I could do this. But it was putting the costume together that really made the character come alive for me, and it really set the tone for the character.
Like
I
the
loved that
houndstooth as
costume.
well. As soon as I saw the houndstooth, I was like, yeah. I said every time I see houndstooth, I just think Ricky from Trailer Park Boys. But it fit the
Yeah,
character
me
though.
too.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought that. But it was perfect. It fit so well. And well, like I think even the first time that we didn't really do much blocking on that scene yet, and it was just how you walked up and did it with the facial expressions, just the not my problem, not my problem. I'm like, holy shit, like she found it already. And that's do you prefer those types of characters where they're so different from you, or do you prefer to play characters that are similar to your personality and are more it's like I'm not even acting, like which seems to me like you prefer playing people who are different from you, but do you have a real preference in any show, really?
Honestly, it's been so long. I'm not sure. Like it's been 15 years since I've been on the stage. Oh, I just aged myself there. Um, but yeah, I like playing the different characters just because it allows me to have I guess a broader how do I say it? Breach with figuring out the characters. Like it's fun. It's fun to put on a mask and dance around a stage. I did love Benson, but I loved young Eleanor too because she was so emotional and so like such difference from the first scene you see her in to the last scene you see her in, and the transition was hard for me to get at first, but once it clicked, it really clicked, and it even in that last performance, it was hard not to shed a tear, honestly.
We almost had the waterworks going. I try my best with those scenes where I'm like I don't want to force tears where like it just if it comes naturally it comes, but the emotion was there for you. I could I could see it in your eyes. I'm like she's gonna cry. Even some of the practices, I could tell you were crying. Like that was. Do you prefer Do you find it better to force it or just let it happen naturally? Some people force it and it still looks good, but sometimes I find it's better to just go naturally. Which do you think is the best?
I don't think I've ever really thought about it before. Sometimes it just comes. Sometimes I like if I really need the emotion, I'll think about something sad, um, like the bills I have to pay. And so I don't know. Yeah, I guess I have to force it.
That was good, actually.
I don't know.
That was so good. That was actually, that was so true. Every every person in the world heard that and went, ooh.
Mhm.
That was perfect. Reg, how about you? You had, of course, three parts. Which one to you really stood out to you?
Let's see, I really like the Gravedigger because he's the oddest of the three. Like playing Jacob was fun too, as the ghost, right? I always wanted to play a ghost, so you fulfilled that dream. And John Misselhouse to me was, don't take this the wrong way. He was just a regular Joe, a regular businessman. There was nothing really special about him except that he had an issue with the way Scrooge was handling his business.
Well, I
So I
think
enjoyed the
anybody
Gravedigger.
would feel that way.
Well, yeah, but the Gravedigger, he was off. He was just off as a person, and I like playing people who are just a little bit off because we do have them in our society.
We're all a little bit off sometimes.
Sometimes
That's
some of us
true.
are a little more off than others.
Like the it's no trouble. I got her on ice. Every show got the biggest reaction. It was so good.
I love that because that's so out of our world, right? We don't hear people saying, "Well, we got her on ice." We don't go into a funeral home and we're told they're on ice.
It's just so well. It's so good. It's how you say it too, and then also the oh no, I've been struck once out here. She ain't going nowhere. Like it's
And that's why he kept saying, "Huh?" He was deaf from being struck by the lightning.
those are the smaller details that people are like. Oh, that's why he was deaf. Like that's good. That's why he wrote it
Yeah,
that way.
Mhm.
yeah.
John, out of the two that you played, I mean, I can probably already guess which one's your favorite, but which one stood out to you and why?
Well, Ben, because he's the only character I have lines. It's hard to make anything with Nurse Lyle.
No, exactly. I figured that's what it was going to be, but I thought there might have been that little thing where no, I like Nurse Lyle more. I wish we had more with him. It was actually Nurse Laura is how it was in the script, and then we just gender swapped it. Um, it was funny. That was actually I'm trying to think. I said, "Holy crap!" I said, it was one of those names where I actually had to think. I'm like, what's a male name that starts with L? I don't know why for a second I blanked and then I thought of Lyle and then I'm like, oh, Larry, and then I thought a whole bunch more later. But I think that worked out good. It was, short and sweet. Patty, how about you? What role was your favorite?
Oh, gee.
Eleanor or Santa?
Let's say Eleanor, but early on Eleanor, because like Kelsey was saying about Benson being so opposite, Eleanor before she was reformed is definitely the opposite of me. Like she was so mean, so rotten. Some of the things that she was saying to her secretary and to John, that was just so much fun to be able to say that and keep a straight face and act like I meant it. As we all know, my favorite line was, you know, that could be expensive. Better have Gramps build you another shack. Like I kept saying to Reg, if you forget anything, don't forget the lead up to that because I need to say that line. That was my absolute favorite because I just had the most hateful look on my face. That's what I was told. Some of the people that came, they said your facial expressions were spot on. I thought, well, good, because I didn't want to be saying mean things and then looking like I was nice. So that was my favorite part when she was being rotten because we don't do that in real life. Well, we shouldn't. So that was really a lot of fun for me.
Even how you said that, it was so good. How you said that the first day, better have Gramps build you another shack. I saw you, bitch.
And the audience all went, ooh.
I know it did. So then I knew I had nailed it. It's like, good. It got the effect that I was going for.
So if people hated you to start, then that is always the best thing. That's the best part.
That's
Okay,
right.
I'm
Then
doing my
I'm
job.
doing my job right. I'm getting it right.
And
Yeah.
that's what's perfect. People say, "Oh my God, how can you take that?" And they're like, "No, like I'm doing my job. That's just what it is, being a villain." Um,
Acting.
Acting, exactly. See, we're in the theater.
Mhm.
But as we kind of wrap this up, guys, I'll go around to each of you. Just do you have any final words or any like thoughts? Anything you like to say to the audience, people who are listening that came to the show, and just maybe just your overall thoughts on the whole experience. John, we'll start with you.
I had a really fun time, and I hope
That's
to
it.
do more.
I love how John's question answers are just, yeah, we're done. See ya.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet. Do you have anything to say to the audience too? He's just, yeah, meh.
Uh, was Ben your favorite character?
No, Nurse Lila was.
Yeah, nothing beats Nurse Lyle.
Oh, that's perfect. Short but sweet. Kelsey, how about you? Make it a little bit longer than John's though, please.
I guess I guess I just want to say thanks to everyone who came out. Apparently, I look really good as a blonde, so thanks for all your compliments. Um, uh, it was so fun, and I met so many new friends, and it was just such a great experience, and I really hope to do more.
Awesome. Reg, how about you?
I'd like to say a great big thank you to the people who come out to the play. They're wonderful. You have great audiences. Um, to the cast, it's great to meet new people. I enjoy meeting new people, and to be able to go out and play with people on a stage and be whatever age you are. It's such a thrill for me because there's a inside of me, there's a little boy who likes to play dress up or put on the makeup or the smell of the crowd or the grease paint sort of thing. Yeah, I have a great admiration for people who are coming to see the play and for the fellow actors on the stage and the director as well, Frankie, which you are doing a bang up job on. So thank you.
Oh, there, you are very welcome. Patty, how about you?
I forget the question, teacher.
All right, we're done here. No, I'm kidding.
No, it was really great. Like most people said, we really hope that the audience enjoyed it. It was so much fun. Um, I hope that the people that do come tell their friends, you really should go see this group. They put a lot of work into it. They're really good. And I'm saying that as everybody, I'm not tooting my own horn, but it is just so much fun. And it's like Reg said, it's freeing to get up there and just act like however you're supposed to act. And it's just great. So hopefully the people who support us will continue to support us. And those who haven't yet, please stop saying I'm going to go and just go to the next performance. Just get off your couch and go enjoy some local theater. You won't regret it.
Yes, and also Patty, on that note too, talking about people not coming to see shows and stuff like that when they should be. You had some people, fan club, come came to see you at a town and went straight back. Is that correct?
That is true. I had a group of friends, two were local, one came from St. John, one came from Moncton for the afternoon performance. They drove up to see me, turned around, they drove back. I had a family member drove up from Moncton. I had a coworker, colleague drive for an hour Friday night's performance. So that really makes a person feel good that they have enough confidence in you that they're willing to take that drive, especially this time of year in the dark, that they know it's going to be worth it to make the drive, pay the money, you know, just to see me get up and act my little heart out. So it's very encouraging. And I just hope that that it continues that way and everybody spreads the word about Corcoran Entertainment.
Like, as soon as I heard that, I just said that was just so, I couldn't believe that. I was like, wow, that's like incredible support from people. And that's just always the thing that blows my, because it's one thing doing something that you love, but it's even better when you see people come out and support you, and they're making sure, like, have you seen the show? You got to go see it. Like, it's always the community support that makes it so much better. And so we thank all of you listening, whether you didn't see the show. Well, maybe next time for Humbug 2, we'll hopefully get that going sometime soon. But no, honestly, so yeah, thank you to not just everybody for coming to see, but thank you guys for all the hard work you put into it. Thank you to the people who were in the cast but were not able to hop on today's show. But just incredible work that everybody put in. And this feels like an Oscar speech where you're trying to thank everybody, but you're just like, I can't think of every single person, but you know who you are. Whatever you did to make the show special, we thank you very much. And thank you for taking the time to listen to the show today, if you made it all the way through to the end. And for people who listen to the show anyway, I appreciate it very much. So thank you guys, and I look forward to what's to come. I really, really appreciate it. Also, yeah, caroling. We are all caroling in Chatham next month too, the Humbug cast. So we're not technically done yet. Anybody who is listening and is wondering, we're going to be doing some caroling. We'll post about that on Facebook and stuff like that. But thank you guys so much for listening. We have 2 episodes this week. We have today or today, Tuesday, which at the time you're listening, this is Tuesday. We got another one coming Thursday. And thank you again as well. I take a shot every time you hear me say thank you. But cheers, everybody. Thank you for listening, and thank you to the cast. Until next time, this is Frankie, Patti, Kelsey, Reg, and John signing off. Thank you, guys, and happy holidays.
Peace.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.